boys off to Vietnam. Come on, fathers, don't hesitate. Send your sons off before it's too late. And you can be the first ones on your block to have your boy come home in a box. And it's 1, 2, 3, what are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. Next stop is Vietnam. And it's 5, 6, 7, open up the pearly gates. Well, there ain't no time to wonder why we're all gonna die. But it's 1, 2, 3, what are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. Next stop is Vietnam. And it's 5, 6, 7, open up the pearly gates. Well, there ain't no time to wonder why we're all gonna die.
John Alosi, an information specialist at Fuloy until April 1971, carries with him one song that defined his experience. I remember the first song I ever heard in Vietnam. I was at the 23rd Artillery Group Personnel Section's office in Long Binh. I was waiting for orders when someone turned on a radio and Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel just came on at that moment. It was AFVN radio in Saigon. All I could do was listen and reflect. Ironically, I had happened to encounter Simon and Garfunkel in the Philadelphia airport only a couple of months before, hearing that song in Vietnam. A handful of us had just finished basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey, and we were in uniform and on our way to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Our flight was going from Philadelphia to St. Louis, where we were to change planes. There was construction at the airport, and we were lined up with all the other civilian passengers heading for the plane. We were shuffling along in between some plywood barriers and structures when we were held up. Some VIPs were speedily led ahead of us onto the plane. I told one of the soldiers in our group, those guys looked a lot like Simon and Garfunkel. I thought it was funny that we would see two people that looked like them. Much to my surprise, when we got on the plane, it was Simon and Garfunkel. They were a few rows back in the first class section, and we were walking single file down the aisle past them to get to the coach section. They were on my left. Simon was sitting by the window, and Garfunkel was standing up beside him and reading off our name tags as we passed by. He said each name, and when I came by, he said Alosi. I was surprised that he pronounced it correctly. After we landed in St. Louis, we chatted with them briefly as we were heading for our next flight. Whenever I hear Bridge Over Troubled Water, I think of being in Long Binh and my experience in Vietnam, and on the plane on the way back to Fort Sill, too.